Assalamu alaikum, family. Peace and blessings. You're tuned into the Sajdah channel, and today is a very special day. So be a friend, tell a friend. We'll be right back. You don't want to miss it, okay?
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided thee right, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
I have received so many pleasures, so many very good to look at, whether you own them or not. It's a pleasure just to look at such presents. Why, I have never witnessed so many presents. I think I have to build me a house for presents. This shows what Allah can do for you and me if we believe in Him.
There is nothing that we could not accomplish in the name of God. You know what your problem is? You don't have even a worthy goal to strive after. I'm going to give you an assignment today. Here's an assignment. Is this something you want? Do you want something? something that you want, but you have not been able to get it? Huh? Close your eyes. Do you see it? Whatever it is that you want, first envision it. You got the picture. Do you see it? All right, now the question is, you have to claim what you see. I claim this. I claim it. I believe with all my heart in the name of God that I'll bring what is in my imagination into reality. We're going to bring it back like it never was. I see in the dome the name Allah written in Arabic. But I can't just dream. I got to go to work. How do you bring it into concrete reality? First, without faith, you can't work the vision.
Assalamu alaikum, family. We're back and you're tuned into the Sajdah channel, and welcome today. Thank you, Sister Dawn. Sister Dawn and my mom kicked off the birthday wishes together. Thank you. Thank you. This is the anniversary of my birth, and I am so grateful to be here today. I was looking at that commercial, and every time I see that house, it just brings me to tears because I wanted to represent also perseverance. I've had so many of you text me and say, give me a tidbit, it's my birth anniversary too. And I say, you know what? The thing is, never give up. Two things I would say: never give up and never let go of your faith. Even when something bad happens and you don't understand, we should be saying to Allah, what should I be learning? What is going on? What is happening? What are you trying to teach me at this moment? And I can honestly say that most of the time, that's where I am. I would say probably 99% of the time. I can't even really think. I'm saying 99 because I don't want to say perfection, but I can't remember a time when I didn't say that. Even if something made me mad, even if I lost my temper a little bit, even if I broke down and cried, there was always that, Allah, I know you're with me. I know. You know what I mean? That kind of reassurance. And so I've always looked at my birth anniversary as the beginning of my new year, because it was always, growing up, you're going back to school. The new year is starting. And so that's the way I did it. And so I started this thing of creating something and really going into a creative process and creating something that I could use to allow Allah to flow through and to just kind of maybe practice what I learned over the course of the year. And so this year, I did the same thing several years ago when I wrote the other book. I finished this week I'm so excited, a new book, okay? It's called The Art and Science of Business. I want to share with you all some of the topics. It's going to go over so well. We're going to be doing book signings inside of museums around the country. Here in Chicago, I think we've got a few other cities planned, which we will announce. We'll tell you all ahead of time because we don't want the devils to go and start acting crazy. But just stay tuned. And we're finishing up the promo and the website. And so, inshallah, by the end of the weekend, that stuff will be done. We'll be able to put the promo videos and all of that stuff out there so that you can see it. While I was writing this last few bit, I fasted It really was unintentional. um, because I think Monday I intended to eat, but I was writing and it got so late and I looked at the clock and I said, forget it. And then thank you, Mom. Mom said happy birthday anniversary. Thank you. And then Tuesday, I started same process. I had some meetings and then I started writing and it got late and I said, forget it. Wednesday, I was planning on eating. I think I was talking to Sister Aletha and she was like, well, maybe just grab something. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I said, I'm going to break away and grab something. And I never did. When I got off the phone with her, I started doing something else with it, started building another, polishing up another topic. And thank you, Sister Aletha. She says, Saturday blessings to everyone and shouting birthday blessings to you, Sister Sajdah. Thank you, and thank you to each and every one. Everybody on here is very special. Sister Dawn, Brother Lamont, I see you, Mom. Sister Aletha, I see some other people here that are not in the chat. Y'all jump over to the chat. Stop just peeking from the rafters. Jump over to the chat. Let me hear from you. If you want to support, you can hit that super chat button, or you can go to Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises, support the movement. It's how we pay for the platform. I was really pushing. Oh, let me go back. I was talking to Aletha. She said, get something to eat. I just never did. So it ended up being like a 3.5 day fast, just getting this thing done. It was good, take off a few pounds too, but just really to allow the energy to continue to flow. So we've got some really amazing things happening for this new year coming up. Like I said, we're going to be doing book signings in museums and stores throughout, and Black businesses throughout the country. This book is really designed to raise our awareness. Obviously, there's so many twists and turns, economic twists and turns, but I try to include some universal principles and challenges that we can all use as we move forward as entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, I was telling my sister this. I said, look, we need to be free. We need to be free. A lot of people act crazy, in business because we're just not free. We're not free to be creative. We're not free to have business, not free to do what we want to do. And this is an attempt to help push us forward to that. Now, we covered yesterday binary thinking, and a lot of people are going to approach this from a binary thought pattern. But if that's how you think, you're just not a part of what we're doing. We're talking about linking with people around the country who are like-minded, other people who are also trying to push forward Black economic development, linking with them. We may not all agree on some of the same things. We may have different principles and ways in which we anchor, ways in which we support. Our anchor over here is the blueprint or the template given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and demonstrated by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That may not be your foundation. That may not be your template, but it's important that we are not so simple-minded and binary thought processors that we think, okay, well, because that's their foundation and it ain't mine, I can't listen and I can't collaborate. I'm meeting people all around the country who come from different backgrounds, and I'm talking about the Black African diaspora here in the wilderness in North America and abroad. People come from different standpoints. I was on a meeting the other day with a group of Pan-Africanists who are trying to do the same thing. And they're like, hey, can we join forces with you? Will you join forces with us? Travel with us? I said, absolutely. This is going to be a multifactorial process. And we got to get out of binary thinking. You got to get out of thinking, well, there's a group of people that I talk to, and they're all older. They're all like in their late 70s and early 80s. They got value too. And let me tell you all something, and I'm going to keep saying this year, because something that pop culture is doing is putting us in this young, old, male, female binary thought process. Okay, we have an identity crisis right now, and it's manufactured. Identity crisis in terms of who we are, how we represent. There's an identity crisis. And so this binary thinking is limiting us, it's diminishing us, it's preventing us to think about complicated processes, and it's really preventing us from uniting. And I know a lot of y'all think, oh yeah, well, I'm united, I work with these people and that. Let me tell you something. If you're younger and you have the wisdom of older people, it gives you an advantage over the people in your age group. I can't tell you how many times somebody older from my parents, my own mother, Dr. George Frazier, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, sometimes just random people in the mosque, or sisters that I interview for the house that are older, that have been through this sojourn a little bit longer, that have added value to my life. I was on the phone with Dr. Frazier about a month ago, maybe for 15 minutes, and he said, you should start this business, and this is what you should do. And he was so casual with it. When I sat down and started looking at it, I said, this is a whole business. And that's just one example. You got, and listen, younger sisters, you got older women who have been through what you've gone through. And so don't think that you're in a different group or a different class, or you can't talk. This is how Willie Lynch lives. Okay. And so let me tell you this, if you're older and you have the benefit of relationships with younger people, it may teach you something about the internet. I remember my cousin and I used to call her son tech support, and something be wrong with the computer, we'd be like, girl, let's call tech support. It might be just a zest for living and energy that they give you. It might be the drive. I've had older sisters in the mosque say to me, say, you know, your fire and your drive and the way you push it just motivates me. So my point is this. If you're older and you have relationships, you're blessed to have relationships with people who are younger, it gives you an advantage over your peer group. If you're younger and you have relationships with people who are older, it gives you an advantage over your peer group. So let's just stop. Stop the Willie Lynch, stop the binary thinking, stop it, stop the this or that, us and them, and let's figure out how to come together. We may not all agree. I may not drink vodka, but you may say, look, I drink vodka. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I should be disciplined enough that if I don't drink vodka and I don't drink scotch, that being around you and your people, if we are uniting from a business standpoint and you drink vodka and scotch, I can't be sitting over here judging you going, because you never know. Tomorrow you might stop and be a greater or bigger Christian or Muslim than I am, a better Buddhist than I am. I can't go, you know what, these people meditate over here. I met a group of brothers and sisters, and they have the kind of a Pan-Africanist twist. I met them through yoga. And I said, you know what, I love yoga and I love Buddhism and meditation and some of those arts and science. I love seeking and learning more about that. I'm a big proponent of looking for other ways in which to shore up and support and validate, in addition, these beautiful teachings that I've been following since 1990. And so I said, what's so interesting and what's so beautiful is that they're looking like, hey, I can learn something from her. I was at Savior's Day last year and got the blessed honor of sitting next to Queen Afua. And when I'm sitting next to Queen Afua, we started talking. We're talking on the phone. And she's not in the same business that but we started finding synergies and talking and coming together. And it was just fabulous. So my point is, learn to open up and stop discriminating. Stop being white-minded, Caucasian-minded. Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop looking down on people because they're older than you. Stop looking down on people because they're younger. That's what the design is. That's the binary thinking. Okay. Let me tell you all some of the, and you'll see this on the video. I got a couple promo videos that we're going to have going out, but let me tell you some of the chapters. And I'm not going to give it all away, but I'll give you a few. There's a chapter on branding and about how branding is the sole print of our business. And again, I'm not going to give it away, but I took a different approach to it so that it's not so textbook, so that you can understand through examples that you see, not just in business, but throughout history, how important branding is, both for you as a person, as an individual. So when you step out, what's your brand, right? You got a brand whether you want to have one or not, right? I could decorate something, or I could buy something, or I could do something, and people who know me, my mom just said it the other day, oh, this looks just like you, because you have a brand, whether you believe it or not. And so the question, or whether it's intentional or not. So the question is, how intentional do you want to be as the brand? How often do you want to see yourself as a person, or do you just want to roll like that? I went back to my high school years and carrying a briefcase and what that meant for the development of my own personal brand. There are certain talents and gifts that you and I have that have come together to form our personal brand. I'll tell you something. I had, because we have some talents that nobody knows and don't support your brand. And so I wouldn't call that brand development, but I'll give you an example. I started reading at 4 years old. And the last time I said this it might've been last year, I said it was 5. And my uncle actually texted me and said, no, it was 4. And he said, you just started reading. He said, nobody taught you. He said, you just was reading. And then he started joking about how when he went to college, I was about 7 or 8 years old, and how he would make me do his homework. But that ability to read became my mojo throughout my life. So in every grade that I got advanced to, the fact that I was an advanced reader became what I was sort of known for. And then over time, that started to expand and develop, and I would do some independent courses and different things like that. So, but that skill, that talent became part of the brand. And so, believe it or not, that little thing that you do or that you have about you that's just you should be something that you should pursue. I think it's interesting that, for example, my brother loves cars and has always loved cars. He used to have all these little Hot Wheels that he would just put all around the house and drive all these little cars. And then he has a grandson that naturally just loves cars too. To me, there's something in that genetic epigenetic chain that they're supposed to be doing with cars, right? I'm kind of in that phase of the things that I just love innately to do. And so the idea with the branding chapter was to really help us to figure out that branding. Sometimes we call it authenticity, but taking that and then translating that over into our business so that we are doing what is natural to us in business. Okay. What else did we talk about? So I did a whole study on crisis management, both crisis management and risk management. There's some detail. There's a crisis management audit, a risk audit in the book so that you could take a look at yourself. You could take a look at your business and say, okay, am I in a crisis? What are the risks that I need to be mitigating? What do I need to be working on? Okay, so that's a heavy chapter in the book. There's we even got into our ratios, business ratios. Some of us watch Shark Tank and things like that. We want to know how to pitch. So there's also a chapter in there on how to pitch. We're talking about Black economic sovereignty and what's it going to take for us to be sovereign as Black people and sovereign as a people. Something that's really been on my mind lately and something I'm working on both with FSIC and a couple of other political leaders around the country is these antitrust and anti-competitive violations that are not enforced. So as Black people, especially as Black Muslims, we are discriminated against. There are times where people may just see our name, discriminate. I mean, there's other times where people will do favors, you know. But it's the discrimination that we're talking about. Okay. So I put some information in there about antitrust laws, anti-competitive laws, so that raise your awareness so that if this is happening to you, you know what to do. I put questions in there that we can begin to ask our elected officials on so that we know whether or not they're going to be down for Black businesses or whether or not it's just talk. I put in there a whole blueprint that we can put forth as legislation to begin to protect us against these types of discriminatory practices that we've all experienced, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in business, whether it's been right in your face from a vendor or a supplier or even a regulatory agency, or whether it's been something that's been in the background and you just don't know what it is. Sometimes you experience something and you say, what in the world is going on? Something is strange. There's something that's happening in this otherwise simple process that is making me to know that there's some confusion there and I need to look for a culprit. So some things are very simple, some things are not. And so we talk about that in detail. We go deeply into separation and the concept of self-governance. And you know, we've done some of that conversation here on the show, but what does it really mean to separate? And is separation a new concept? And is separation a multifactorial process? I even put the framework for a separation think tank in the book. The book ended up being almost 400 pages, and I didn't intend it to be that. But I think you all will like it. I talked about business as warfare and ways in which we have to learn to protect ourselves from a business standpoint. We broke down the prayer that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us, the refuge prayer. I seek refuge from anxiety and grief. We laid out how the refuge requests in that prayer lay the foundation for the operational blueprint that we should have. And let me say this to you, because I've met a lot of people and we've been having this conversation lately. Met a lot of people who are confused about this. You cannot teach people sustainable business, especially Black people, without first waking us up. Because if you teach us business without waking us up to our history, our position, give us a goal, give us a desire. Because a lot of people say, well, I don't just want to be a Black business. Why not? Why not? Because target marketing, that you're not marketing. There's no such thing as a general market. See, this is the binary colonized thinking that they've gotten us into. There's no such thing as a general market. Stop creating your products and service saying, I want this to be for everyone. This is, you are targeting somebody. When the Asians put up beauty supply stores in our community, they have a target market. Okay? When you have certain stores, certain products, certain services, there are target markets. If you have HVAC and you do HVAC, you install that kind of thing, you got a target market. Who's your target market? Whoever, whatever your price range is for your products and services, your target market is people who need air conditioners. But you can't go into, and there's another layer to that, but let me say it this way. You can't go into business trying to be a general market person when everybody else in the industry and in the businesses that you're in are target marketing. Okay? You can't say, well, I'm doing financial literacy or I'm doing workforce development, but I don't target market. Well, they target marketing. The very concept of workforce development, somebody's target marketing somebody, whether you're target marketing people who are returning citizens, whether it's juvenile offenders or what they call juvenile delinquents, whether you're talking about runaway children, people coming from drug rehab, what you're targeting. Even as a nonprofit, this is again, I keep talking about the trickiness of these nonprofits nowadays. See, nonprofit used to be so much easier when the government was doling out a lot of money, because all you had to do was set up your nonprofit, put the word out there, and people would donate, do a grant, and you'd be good to go. But now you got the states zeroing in, making adjustments. They're even coming after people, which is interesting because they don't do this with the bigger foundations, but they're even coming after people who are starting nonprofit organizations that they think that they shouldn't be starting. I use this one all the time. I'm not a veteran, but if I started an organization and said, I'm starting this for veterans, I have to really show my tie to veterans, whether I say, okay, my brother's a veteran, my cousin's a veteran, my grandfather's a veteran, and I want to honor them, and they made sacrifices. I got to have a whole story behind why I'm starting this organization. This is target marketing. But you can't say, I'm doing this for everybody. I'm a general market person. I don't want to be a Black woman in business. I don't want to be a woman in business. Embrace who you are. Embrace who you are. Because trust me, if you think you're not target marketing, somebody's targeting. Somebody's targeting you. Somebody's targeting me. And so you got to counter that with a target yourself. So that's why we say to people, hey, buy Black. Eat at Black restaurants. Spend your money with Black people. What's your target? What's your goal? So I want to get us out of that kind of thinking. I also covered in here really detail the concept of being very specific with our language. I personally think that this push to make us broaden our language has hurt us. So as Black people, when we go to politicians, we don't say, well, listen, what are you doing for Black people? We say, what are you doing for Black and brown? What are you doing for minorities? And then they turn around and maybe give us the statistics for Black and brown, or the statistics for a minority. And this is not saying that we're not down with other minorities or not other brown people or Black. I'm saying we are down for Black people. And it's time for us to start demanding, no, what are you going to do for us? We have to stop being grouped in with all these other titles and packaging because we're getting the short end of the stick. I listened to Senator Preston the other day. We were at Kennedy College on a panel, and he talked about how he asked, I think it was McCormick Place. He said, how much of your procurement business is or have you given to Black people? And they kept, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact story, but he said they kept saying, well, Black and brown, and for minorities, we've done this. And for minorities includes everybody, Black, brown, LGBTQ plus, women. He said they kept giving that statistic. And then they kept saying, he said, he kept saying, I'm going to ask you again, what have you done for Black businesses? How many contracts? And then they went around the mulberry bush. They used all this other very generalized language. And he said one more time, what have you done for Black people? And he said the person put their head down and said 5. And on the panel, I leaned in. I said, 5 what? And he said, that's what I asked him. Aletha was there. She remembered. He said 5. They said, we said 5 what? $5,000 in contracts to a Black company. See, when you start, and I break down those statistics, I also break down I have a model that I spent time putting together where I break down how much the US dollar will be impacted by helping Black people to go into business for themselves. How much can we contribute to the GDP of the United States of America? I put that in there. What is the cost of exclusion? What is the cost of racism? What is the cost of anti-competitive behavior? See, whether you want to believe it or not, the GDP of the United States of America must include Black people. Because if it doesn't, this dollar is going to continue to fall. It's already been predicted by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that it's going to fall. See, we've saved this country in every other way. You got people that come over here now who are Muslims from around the world. They can wear their hijab. They can say Assalamu alaikum. They can be public in who they are. There are sacrifices that Black people, Black Muslims in the Nation of Islam made so that you could do that very thing. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad made all his followers put their names, their Muslim names, in the phone book. And you may not realize how huge that is, but they took the risk of being a target. Those people went to jail so that we could have charter schools. You got people all over the internet. I'm going to build a school targeted for this and that. Well, they went to jail for the right to independently educate our children. And you may say, well, okay, I didn't know about it. You may not have known about it, but it's people who paved the way for the ground and the road that you're walking on. And I'm saying, as Black people, we can do that again. I am specifically biased toward Black Muslim business owners. Why? Because I am one. And I believe that we need to be liberated. We need to be liberated so that we can do business. There's a lot of talent among Black Muslims in business. And guess what? When you do business with us, what are you going to get? You're going to get discipline. You're going to get integrity. You're going to get creativity. You're going to get intelligence. You're going to get perseverance and more, and then some. But I believe I'm impartial to it. I'm target marketing. not only for us internally inside of the Nation of Islam, but other Black people who say Assalamu alaikum. Black people in the Nation of Islam diaspora. What does that mean? People who follow the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that you don't necessarily know follow those teachings. People who say, you know what, I grew up as a Muslim. Or, yeah, that's what I believe. I listen to the minister every week. I call that our Black Muslim or Nation of Islam diaspora. All of us need to be liberated. A lot of people are in the diaspora because they can't handle the restrictions of not being in the diaspora. They're worried about their businesses, so they don't come out and say, Assalamu alaikum. But guess what? We need to be liberated too. And so that's my goal for this new anniversary of my birth. We're going to be doing some amazing things at the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We just did a tour last week, and I was blown away at how blown away they were. I mean, they literally brought me to tears. And people have been emailing me after visiting. Just the other day, I was going to write. I was in writing mode, and I was just in some sweats, and I just had my hair back in a ponytail. I wasn't looking presentable. And I have this beautiful area in the back of the house where sometimes I'll write. And I was going to go back there and write. But when I got there, there were so many people in front of the house taking pictures, being excited, that I just said, oh, you know what? I can't even get out of the car. And as a matter of fact, I shouldn't be out the house looking like this. So I came back home, got myself together, and then later went back around, and there were still some people there, and I was able to greet people. What am I saying about this? And that people are ready for more. And for those of you who think that business and spirituality are separated, you're wrong there too. That is binary thinking that has been given to you by the colonizers. It's just wrong. I talked about, go back to Dennis Kimbrough's book, go back to Brother Bedford's interviews, and them interviewing millionaires, Black millionaires, Black billionaires, and they're all spiritual. See, spirit and business go hand in hand. And I'm going to give you a secret. Lean in. When you're doing for self, let's say you already have your own business. Let's say you're working a job and you're like, hey, I'm the COO for another entrepreneur, because everybody can't own their own business, okay? Some people are going to work for other people, and that's okay. Some people are going to partner. But you should be seeing yourself as somebody that is a brand, a company that is doing for self. You may have a goal where you're of service in this particular job, but those principles of pushing the envelope, of being creative, you should be embracing them no matter what. Because at the end of the day, we never know how long these jobs are going to last. Those days of working somewhere 30, 40 years and retiring, that's a whole nother thing, right? Some of us are all on this thing, well, I'm going to retire. I can't wait to just retire. You got to think about the origin of that. And we break that down in the book. I'm not going to give it all away, but there's a lot of topics like that. So it's a cross between spiritual, and there's some aspects that are very, very technical. There's some audits, there's some blueprints, there's some templates, there's some road mapping, there's outlines for think tanks. It's deep, and I'm grateful to be able to offer it. And you'll see the promo coming out soon. And I really hope that you will get the book, study it. We can do virtual book signings. We'll figure out how to make that happen. But we're going to be traveling to museums around the country, also supporting independent museums, right? We have a project we're working on with the Great Plains Black Museum in Nebraska. They're doing a Green Book project. We're helping to do some research there and support that project as well. And any other museums. We got some great ones that we're working on, but it's time for us to own, monetize, and tell our story. And I'm so grateful to be able to put my money where my mouth is. That's a blessing. All right. So thank you all for the birthday wishes. I see you, Regional Sky Girl. You had just got on. Thank you so much. She said, is there a birthday celebration taking place? Congratulations on your graduation to another level and blessings to your parents. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you're right, Sister Aletha. That was just, it was horrific. Really, really horrific. So, okay, family, stay close. If you want to support, oh, look, hey, you guys, don't send me gifts. Okay. I have people sending a lot of different things. Support, just donate to the movement. Okay. Support what we're working on. Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. You'll be supporting this final stage of the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. We have to pay for these platforms. We got tour coming up. And on that tour, we're going to be talking about the development of the house. We're going to be talking about, and let me say this, because some of you all have criticized me because you say, well, your brand is creeping into the preservation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's house. Well, guess what? This is what is helping me to develop. It was my brand that allowed me to acquire the house. Okay? It is my brand that allowed the vision for the renovations to come through. It is my brand that is now up to several $1 million invested before y'all even knew anything about it. Okay? It is my brand that has people who are supporting me and pushing. And it is that brand that's going to make this one of the most premier, if not the premier, independent Black museum in the world. Period. Hands down. So miss me with the step back, sister. Don't do so much. Listen, me and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is like this. Okay? And he could be like this, but you too. Find your own niche, and he can be that for you too. But for me, we like this. I talk to him, I see him. You can call me crazy, you can say whatever you want to say. But he guides me, he supports me, and he gave us the instructions to get up and do for self. And I tell people, I say, you know what, some people say, well, are you guys going to teach prayer? No, we have a mosque for that. Are you guys going to do orientation and all? You got to go to the mosque. And so we're not taking anything away from the structure that our beloved leader has resurrected, upholded, founded, and put together. Were it not for my love for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I wouldn't even know who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is. So I'm hands down, 10 toes down in support of him, in love with him. I'll tell you all a quick story before we go. When I first created the coins, I didn't bring one. We don't have any more pendants, but I have some of the greater coins. Y'all know we still got about 700 left. But when I created the coins, I said to the minister, I said, I never imagined that people would not be beating down the door to buy those coins. I said, it confuses me. I said, I never imagined, especially those of us as Black Muslims who wouldn't be here were it not for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I can't even imagine not supporting. I never thought twice. I can't imagine. And he said, "Oh, sister, that's because you're in love." And that, that kind of hit me. I said, "Oh, okay. But let me tell you the blessings." And some of you all that are here in the chat, I know Sister Aletha can bear witness, the blessings that come, moms in here, the blessings that come from supporting the upliftment. It's not the house per se, but the upliftment of what that house represents. I can't even express the level of upliftment, growth, development, and all that occurs as a result. Sorry, I'm getting y'all comments here. I'm telling you, you can't even imagine. It's almost like, and Aletha and I talk about this, like we tapped into a vortex. I don't know, I might have been talking to Sister Sajdah about this. We have tapped into a vortex of energy and power that is uncanny. And it's difficult at first. And the minister said to me, he said, "Make sure you share your rewards among your family and friends." Why is that important? Because there's no big eyes and little U's. There's no you special and you ain't. Master Fard Muhammad came 9,000 miles. He said he would eat rattlesnakes to save one of us. Why did he come here? Because we have been kidnapped. We have been enslaved. There's an entire world that was built on our back. And you got the nerve to be telling people that money is the root of all evil, and it ain't about the money, and don't get money. We here because of money. The problem, the root of all evil, is the worship of money. But you can't separate our economic growth and evolution from money. Freedom ain't free. You can't separate it. Reason why you can't separate it is because we're here because of money. We've been held bondage because of money. We've generated trillions of dollars for this country for free. It's all about money. But see, what we're about is saying, guess what? We don't worship money. Money is not our God. It's just a tool. And we have different techniques and different ways in which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us in a template. That's what the minister told me to call it. He said, that is a template. He gave us a template on how we can generate what we need for one another. And believe it or not, degree by degree by degree, we will be freer and more liberated every day in every way when we follow that template. It don't really need to be that much. I always tell some of my entrepreneurs when they're working on stuff, I said, look, put several pipelines together, because if you got one little income source that brings you, $300 a week, well, that's $1,200 in a month. That might be enough to change your zip code. That might be enough to cover some of the small things or elevate your life, pay for food, take you and your family out to a restaurant. I don't know, but it could do a number of different things. And then pretty soon, that $500 or $300 a week hustle, if you will, might bring $1,000. So stop looking at, I got to become a millionaire overnight. Start small. Build that pipeline. That way, when something happens, you got several sources of funding where things are going to be coming from. Just a thought. We'll talk about it. And then we're going to be expanding the coaching. We may have to do some suspending of the coaching and training. So I would say if you want to have a session, get your session in before October, before we get out here and start really doing all these book signings, because we're going to suspend those independent coaching sessions. And I will be, I'm going to show over the next 10 days our DECA Fest celebration. I don't know if you all remember DECA Fest. It's the 10 days between my birth anniversary and the day in which I got my X, which is September 9th. And so I celebrate for those 10 days. And last year we did a broadcast each day. And so I'm going to dig around and dig those up and show those each day. And we'll come out and go live and have a conversation. All right. So peace and blessings, family. Support. You can Cash App Sajdah Enterprises, also going across the bottom. You can Zelle Wendy100m@gmail.com. Also, what's there is booksajdahwendymuhammad.com. Do that booking before we get busy so we can get you off on a good start, because we're going to be doing everything from, I won't even say it, but you'll see. Okay, family, thank you very much. Be a friend, tell a friend. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and tell your family and friends about the network, the channel, and the work that we're doing. And remember, guard yourself against being a chronic binary thinker. Okay? Love you all. Let's see what we're going to show on our way out. Let's show this one. Okay, you all. We'll see you soon. And I think that one's okay to show. Oh, here we go. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, family. Love you.